Good morning. Hi, Richard Roberts here, live from the village of Venetia. And I'm the honorary mayor of the village. You know, the colonial version definition of what a village is has to contain four things. One is a church, one is a store, one is a place to eat, like a tavern, pub, and the other is a school. We have all four of those things in the village of Venetia, which is the 700 to 800 block on Venetia Road. If you've never been there, great history there. It goes back to 1762. In fact, there's a facsimile of that log cabin that James and Jacob Wright built back in 1762. It's right across the street. It's right where the Wright House is today, which is the Museum of Western Expansion. Right behind that, the cabin, one of the original cabins. What is it, the red or green it's on? Red, thank you, okay. So it's, if you ever get a chance to come there, for a soup and stroll, I'll give you a chance. This is December the 12th, from noon to 4 o'clock, and I'm just giving that to you ahead of time to see one of the oldest structures in Peters Township, the cabin of Jacob and Joseph Wright. Their son Enoch came along and built historic Wright's Church right where we're at on Venetia Road. So we invite you to come to all the activities of, and I'll tell you about all of those things. It's been an exciting 8-year ride down there. When we first arrived to Venetia, as the pastor there of Wright's Church and Edwards Chapel up the corner of Chapel Hill Road and 136 right outside Mingo Park. What is it that's particular? What is it that's outstanding about the community that you've been assigned to? And when you take Edwards Chapel on top of the hill, it is a lighthouse on the hill. It's actually one of the tallest places in Washington County. If you look down, come out right outside the door there, and you look down into the valley, that's it right there. Even taller where the observatory is in Mingo Park. But when I got to the village of Venetia, I said, this is a village, for goodness sake. Oh my goodness, it's got everything right there. And so for the last 8 years, we've been doing a light up night. And it's December 3rd this year, Friday, December 3rd. We will light the tallest Christmas tree in Washington County. And if you haven't seen that, we invite you to come out to be that. In fact, even this morning, I got the approval to do to bring out the crane that's going to put the lights on. And so it's a pretty big deal to put 10,000 lights on this 40-foot tree. And it's right there in the village of Venetia. You can see it for miles. And so we're looking for it. And actually, we'll put the lights on. Come on out and film that. That's the day after Thanksgiving. On that Friday morning, we'll be putting 10,000 lights on our tree there. And we're excited about that. And that's just one of the activities for Light Up Night on that December the 3rd. It begins at 6 o'clock, 6 to about 8:30. We'll light the tree somewhere between 6 and 6:30. So if you're getting off from work, just look for the historic Wright's Church there, the community center, which is the old Venetia School right there. Turn and park in the parking lot there. And you'll have a variety of activities. Lighting that Christmas tree on the top floor of the community center is right where we're at the old Venetia School, the largest train display in the west on the East Coast. The largest. I mean, you've seen the train display down at the Carnegie Science Center. Fantastic. But this is larger than that in 4 different rooms on the top floor of the school there in Venetia. So you want to come to see that. It's the DARE Club that is run in cooperation with the Peters Township Police Department. And they're there every Wednesday and every Saturday helping kids of all ages kind of learn about trains, learn about painting scenery, learn about that meticulous artistry of putting together a train platform. And there's a lot to that. I mean, it's not just, what it used to be in the old days. So that train display will be open for our light up night. And they'll be also showing the Polar Express movie downstairs in the building there. Also housed in that community center will be the Girl Scout troops. They'll be doing some crafts and also be doing some fun games right there too on the second floor of that community center. So that's just part of the activities, again, starting 6 o'clock on December the 3rd. We've got lots of entertainment, more entertainment than we've ever had before. South Hills Children's Choir will be there, and if you haven't heard them sing, they are just fantastic. The voices that come together and the vocal training that goes on in their rehearsals. They rehearse at Wright's Church, and so I'm blessed to be able to hear them every week during the rehearsal times. The performance, in fact, they have a performance today over in the Upper St. Clair area. I've got to pick my Abigail up from school about 3 o'clock and run over there to be a part of that performance. So just South Hills Children's Choir. They'll be, I think, performing starting at 6:30 to 7 o'clock. We've got Christmas marimba. We've got a marimba right in the sanctuary of Wright's Church, and it's going to have some fantastic music playing there. Also, Christmas karaoke. We built an outdoor stage this summer, and we're so excited about our outdoor stage. You know, for the past 8 years since we've lived in Venetia, the village, we've had in the summertime, we've done brown bag concerts. And what that means is every Wednesday, the month of June and July, we have different entertainers come in, and the ladies from the church will cook a $5 lunch, and it's fantastic. You know, sometimes it's soup and sandwich, sometimes it's T-bones and baked potatoes, sometimes it's cabbage rolls and coffee. It's always good, and it's always fantastic. And then you get entertainment on top of that. Well, for the past number of years, we've had it outside on the church steps, and as traffic has picked up on Venetia Road with all the construction going on there, we had to move it inside, and then this past summer, we moved it back outside again, but on a 16 by 14 stage that we constructed right on the back end of our parking lot there. It's a canopy of trees over it, so even in July, when we were doing the concerts, it was still temperate enough out there that you can enjoy it. Umbrella tables, lunch outside, and you get to hear some wonderful music too. So much so, this summer we extended it into the fall, and so we did that the month of October. We had a great month of October, as you know. The temperatures were just perfect enough. You could still be outside. No rain on Wednesdays, and so we had our outdoor performances there on the month of October. But now, for Christmas time, we're going to put a shelter over it. A more permanent one will come in the spring, but for Christmas, for December the 3rd, and that's where the karaoke will be. We've already done that with Girl Scout troops that have used our area for some overnights that we've had right there. We've got several troops active in the Venetia area, and we just roll out the welcome mat and say, come, be with us here in the village. And so they've had overnights there. We've done karaoke and s'mores and hot dogs around an open fire. All that is going to be a part not only of the summer, but it's also going to be a part of Friday night, December the 3rd, too. We'll have the s'more station. Now, that's at the Parsons house, so let me explain it to you. The buildings that are really going to be full and active for our light-up night is Historic Wright's Church. That building in particular was built in, I think, 1924. It replaced the original church built in 1836. But that was back on the road behind us there, on Sugar Run Road. There was I don't know if you knew this, there was an earthquake in the 1920s, enough so, right in Venetia, that it shook that building apart, and they had to build a new one. So the new church was built out on the main road, 1924. Our house, the Parsons house, was built that same year, 1925, and then the school was built, I think, 1926, right beside it. And they used the Venetia School up until 1993. And so all three of those buildings make up the part of the village. And so I've told you about the community center events, the old Venetia School. The Parsons house will have a hot chocolate station right there. s'mores around an open fire. On the deck on top is a vintage Kaufman's window display. If you remember the old displays from downtown Pittsburgh, I grew up in the North Hills of Pittsburgh in the Fox Chapel area, and we'd come down at least twice a year to Pittsburgh to go shopping. One was at Christmas time. And in the old days, when I was a child, you got to see all three of the department stores, Gimbel's, Horne's, and Kaufman's. They all had wonderful window displays. The last one that made it, Kaufman's, turned into Macy's there, and they still had those wonderful animated window displays. Well, when they sold the Macy's downtown, this is what, 5 years ago, I knew that was going to happen. I've got lots of history there. I just love those old department store buildings. Worked for Joseph Horne's at one time. I was coming through and heard they were doing the last weekend of the sale at Macy's, which is the old Kaufman store. Pulled the car over, ended up with a parking ticket, no worries. Went inside though, and they had the first couple floors were the only floors open. All the rest of the 11 floors were closed. I think it was up to 2. I think it was the main floor, the mezzanine, and then floor 2. And I was just looking around, pieces that I remember growing up as a kid, and I saw these particular pieces in different areas of the second floor. They weren't all together. And here, what it was a window display that I remember from the 1970s when I was like 10 years old. It was in kind of like a carousel kind of thing, carousel horses, Victorian dresses, these figurines that were made of wood. And so I started putting these pieces together, plus a backdrop of like it was a big banquet hall, like Louis XIV kind of thing going on. And I looked at all these pieces, and I said, man, oh man, this is a window display that I remember. And I bought them all. I didn't have my truck that day, and I said, I will purchase them now. Can you hold them till Saturday? They said, yes, we can, sir. So I bought them all, and just odds and ends of things that I remember from the old Kaufman store. Went down to pick them up in my truck. In fact, the backdrop that you'll see on the deck with the window display assembled, we couldn't even fit, we had to go down the escalator. It wouldn't fit in the freight elevator. It was so tall. It's about 10 foot tall. And so me and another guy, we took it down the escalators. And if you remember the old Kaufman store, there were like two sets of escalators, and then you went out the side door. And so that's what we did. Loaded it in the truck, and we've been displaying it on the Village of Venetia Christmas display for the last couple years. So come out and see that. If you just remember any of that from your childhood, shopping in downtown Pittsburgh, come see the window display. Or have a s'more there. Or come listen to the South Hills Children's Choir. Or Christmas karaoke. There'll be Christmas caroling. We'll have a sheet for you. We'll give you a candle and a song sheet that we can do some caroling together as we light up the tallest tree in Washington County. Then go in, play some games that the Girl Scouts, different troops, I think 4 different troops are participating, that will have different crafts and games there. The train club will be there. It's just going to be a great night starting about 6 o'clock, 6 to 8:30. We've got hot dogs and hot sausage. And inside the basement of the church, Julie Wright, if you go to her website, she's a wonderful coffee house entertainer. She'll have her keyboard there and does a lot of her own original music. And she'll be performing in the Grand Fellowship Hall in the bottom of Wright's church. And there'll be cookie decorating there. It's a cookie coffee house. Coffees from around the world, cookies there that you can decorate yourself. And we've done that station in the past before, so that'll be the whole thing of it. Get a hot dog, get a hot sausage, maybe a ham barbecue. Enjoy that food and the warmth of inside, or 3 different shelters outside that we'll have for you. That one over by the karaoke, an outdoor shelter, a fire nearby. Sit out there, enjoy karaoke. A shelter right where the Parsons house is. Have a hot sausage and a hot dog there. a shelter over at the community center. There'll be an outdoor fire over there. It takes a lot of volunteers to put all this together. If you want to be a part of that volunteer team, we invite you to come and be a part. You'll be blessed by it, to be sure. If you've ever participated in like a seek and find, we've got the Tri-State's largest nativity display in the sanctuary of Wright's Church. And we've had that going on maybe the last 5 years. 3 years ago, my wife actually said, let's make it a seek and find and really give you meaning and purpose. You know, I love looking at nativities too, but if you give me meaning and purpose to do it, I'll really enjoy them. And so there'll be 25 seek and find. You'll get the list, find the one with the bagpiper. You ever seen a nativity sit with a bagpiper? Maybe it came from Scotland, perhaps. Or find the one, you know, you can tell who's telling the story. Is it Matthew or is it Luke from the gospel lessons? In one of the stories, Joseph seems like an elderly fellow that is very kind to this young Mary that's probably 14 years old. But in another part of the story, he's a younger fellow about the same age. And so you can look at these nativity sets. If you got a guy there with a great big beard, that's the older Joseph. You got a younger fellow there with just a young scruffy beard. That would be the story of the. So putting all these stories together, you know, seeing the wonderful variety of nativities makes it a seek and find. And it's just, so there's lots of activity. In fact, you probably can't get it all in the 2 hours that you're going to be there. Hi, we're back talking about Christmas in the village of Venetia. It's about the 700 to 800 block right on Venetia Road. If you've been there, that's where the old school is, soccer fields or baseball fields behind it. In fact, we're really a village for all seasons right there that we've been kind of playing up right now. I had a video that we shot just 2 weeks ago. We do a Facebook Live program every Monday through Thursday about 9 o'clock, about 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a cooking show. You know, I'm out at the grill at the Parsons house there, cooking some bacon or grits on the grill or some shrimp. And we have the camera running at the same time. Brutus the Wonder Dog's over there. It's just a wonderful environment. But what we showed 2 weeks ago is the construction going on there, the construction of the new amphitheater that's right there in the village. Yeah, it's the stage that we built this summer, but construction is still going on right behind it. The Peters Township Baseball Association are converting the soccer fields that they weren't using for the past 3 or 4 years to more baseball fields. And they're using the back of our property, of the church, at Wright's Church, to get back down in there. And so it's great fun that they're using our parking lot, lots of construction activity going on, and so that creates a buzz, it creates some excitement. And so this past summer, before the construction started, we had the stage built. We had 3 theater performances, well, actually 3 theater groups come and want to be a part of the village of Venetia. The Abbey Players, they're meeting where we're at right now at Wright's Church. This summer they did 2 shows. In fact, one over here at Peterswood Park, and then a show where we're at. In October the 3rd, the first weekend of October, they did Lion King, the live Lion King musical that they started rehearsing 20 months ago, and because of COVID had to shut it down. But they put it together and did it right at Wright's Church. They did another one here 2 weeks ago. It was a cabaret. It was All Together Now. It was a wonderful musical review. Again, right, if you've been inside the historic sanctuary at Wright's Church, built in the 20s, it looks like it's a concert hall. I mean, it looks like it's very colonial, very Williamsburg, and the acoustics are just tremendous in there, as they were when they were building buildings at that time. You don't have to put foam on the roof and like they do in other buildings that try to detract from the sound. That was made picture perfect back then. So the Abbey players continue to rehearse where we're at Wright's Church. Kathy's Music, that has studios in Mount Lebanon and also right there in McMurray. They brought 2 musical theater groups for children out this summer. They did Music Man one week, and then the next week they did a musical review called Summer Camp. And it was all right done on our new outdoor amphitheater right there in the village. And then in addition to that, South Hills Children's Choir. So we've got this stage, and perhaps you want to be on stage. You want to be in front of a camera. We invite you to come and do that for our time of Christmas karaoke. That's just one of the performances going on to our December, to our December 3rd Light Up Night. And again, I was mentioning, if you can't get to all the activities on that Friday night, the trains will still be there the next day. They're going to be there from 9 to noon on that Saturday. And they're there on Wednesdays putting trains together. This is the DARE Model Train Club. They're there on Saturday mornings, and they just put a lot of work into it. In fact, we're looking at, they've got assembling right now. It may not be open. It will be open for business during Light Up Night. A new hobby shop right on the 2nd floor. The closest hobby shop to us now might be Millvale in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, perhaps. So they're putting together a hobby shop right there in the 2nd floor of the old Venetia School, the Venetia Community Center, that specialize in trains. But I was in there on Saturday. They've got some plastic models and just a paraphernalia like a hobby shop would have. And so that's right there with us. So we've got inside events, we've got outdoor events, and it stretches all the way from now really until the first of the year. In other words, on Sunday morning, this Sunday coming up, begins the Advent season for those of the Christian calendar, and we'll do Hanging of the Greens right there at Wright's Church, historic Wright's Church. And that'll be at 9:30, and come. And why do we put up Christmas trees? You know, why do we have poinsettias? Why do we put ornaments on a tree? That'll all be explained in Hanging of the Greens, and that's a traditional service that we've done at Wright's and at Edwards Chapel for the years that we've been there. You may do that at your own church too. And then Christmas Eve. You want powerful Christmas Eve services? We've got 2 of them ready for you. One at Edwards Chapel, the corner here of Chapel Hill Road and 136. That's at 5 o'clock, or one at 7 o'clock right there at Wright's. Both are candlelight, and you take the candle out into the community, and that light that chases away the darkness. And we've certainly having a lot of darkness and chaos that we need to be chasing away in this day and time. So the fun just really begins for the whole holiday season. I know they had Light Up Night in Pittsburgh on Saturday, but they actually copied that from the village of Venetia. I mean, they thought, how can we do something in Pittsburgh to kind of model ourselves? No, that's not true. I'm just teasing. But we've been able to be a wonderful part of Light Up Night events. We lived in Franklin and lived in Venango County for the time that we were up there. Became an active part of that. Helped re-energize the Sharon community when we lived there for 4 years, and the Light Up Night still continues downtown Sharon. And we brought everything we learned from those other communities right to Venetia and began that work there. And so it continues to grow. And it just invites you to come forward. So come for the entertainment, community caroling and tree lighting from 6 to 6:30. 6:30 to 8, the South Hills Children's Choir. They have a concert, Christmas cookie and coffee house, nativity display Seek and Find, Christmas karaoke at the new Venetia Outdoor Amphitheater. And then at the community center, carnival games with the Peters Township Girl Scouts, and of course the Dare Holiday Train Display. All that, you wrap all that around, and then you have a hot dog, a hot sausage, a ham barbecue, have cookies and coffee, have marshmallows and s'mores around an open fire, hot chocolate while you're visiting the vintage Kaufman's display that'll be at the Parsons house. I always wanted to do animated lights. Haven't quite got there yet, but we'll be putting 10,000 lights on the Washington County's tallest Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving. So come on out and just drive by and see a part of that on your way to Black Friday savings, wherever you're heading. Yeah, again, we're a village for all seasons. We've got entertainment going on with the Abbey Players, South Hills Children's Choir, Kathy's Music, with our own in-house band, bluegrass band that we have right there at the village. There's just lots of opportunities to love and to be served, and so come and experience some great hospitality. So we'll package all this up together. Friday, December 3rd, starts at 6 o'clock, goes to 8 o'clock. Now the trains that will be next door, they'll also be there Saturday morning from 9 to noon. When I was a kid, what I wanted to do was be Mr. Rogers. I watched him religiously when I was a child, and he was my hero. And back in 1990, I was in South Carolina, in a little town of Due West, South Carolina, doing some seminary work down there. I started my own TV station there and did a program just like this. And we called it Spotlight on Erskine. But that was the days of VHS. You had the camera, you turned the camera on, you went and sat in front of it. And so the team here, good work, team, with the cameras, the multi-cameras here, floor producers, everybody at Peters Township Cable TV. You're doing great work. Come see us at the Village of Venetia. You'll be a blessing to us, and you'll be blessed when you get there. God bless you. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Thanksgiving.